your mind. It's important to me. Coming together. Let's talk. Family. Avenues of dialogue. Different views too. Reasoning together. Great minds. Seeking truth. WhutevTV is where we will be. Come join us on WhutevTV.
Welcome to Brother to Brother, where great minds seek truth. I'm your host, the Anointed One, 501, and my guest is Brahim, a good brother of mine. He's going to speak on letting credit work for you. Brahim, when did you first, who was the first one that encouraged you in the areas of credit?
I got it from numerous of people. I got it because I was interested, I'm still interested in the real estate.
Okay.
Because I know that, buying real estate and credit goes, hand in hand. And, you can, buy real estate with credit and stuff like that. But the main person that got me really, deep diving in credit was a guy named Whutev the Billionaire. When he talked about traveling with your credit card points and stuff like that, points and miles and stuff like that. And also another guy named Bob with buying properties with your credit cards and stuff like that. So those two guys right there made me deep dive more into credit cards and stuff like that. So when one day I was just sitting at work and the guy, Whutev the Billionaire was like, you can, travel for free and yada yada yada. So I'm like, man, this is a bunch of crap. It's not real. He's like, pay $100, little course for the weekend. I'll tell you a little more about it. I'm like, okay, I paid $100. Spend $100. Everybody spends $100 within a week on random things. So I was like, you know what? All right, I take this. Best of myself. If it's a bunch of crap, it's a bunch of crap. If it pans out, it pans out. So I was sitting there, paid it. Boom, we on the Zoom live. We talking about it. He's talking about it. He says, he goes to a whole bunch of things on credit. But the main thing that stuck out to me was the traveling part.
Okay.
The traveling part, don't do this with credit, do this with credit, X, Y, and Z. He talks about trade lines and a whole bunch of other stuff. So he says we'll get this credit card by Barclays. He talked about Barclays Bank a lot.
Okay.
So I went on Barclays Bank. So Barclays Bank had a bunch of credit cards. So that was the first credit card that I got outside of the credit cards that I already had. I was like most people, I didn't know nothing about traveling credit cards.
Right.
So I had two credit cards that was traveling credit cards. I didn't even know that was traveling credit cards.
Okay, for those who don't know, clarify that. What is a traveling credit card?
So traveling credit cards can be cards that can basically have points or miles that can give you access to airline tickets or hotels, rental cars or cruises. That's what traveling credit cards are. So they can be co-branded within, for example, American Airlines, Delta, United, airlines. Okay. Or also they can be co-branded with, Hilton, Marriott, IHG, Hyatt, hotel. Or they can be co-branded with Royal Caribbean cruise lines and stuff like that. Or but then you have.
Is that like package deals?
It depends on how you use the points.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on how you use the points. And then you have credit cards that has transferable currency, like American Express, Chase, Capital One, HSBC, all those guys.
Okay, and for those of us who may not know what that means, what is transferable currency?
So transferable currency is when, for example, if you have an American Express card or a Chase card, if you have points within the American Express ecosystem, you can take your points and you can transfer them to a specific partner of a hotel or an airline within the listed transfer partner. So, for example, since Hilton is part of American Express, you can transfer a point over to Hilton. And if you have the amount of points that's bookable for that Hilton hotel, you can book the hotel with those American Express points once you transfer them to the Hilton points, and that's vice versa when you transfer them to the airline. So like, that's like if you transfer over to British Airways, you can transfer over to British Airways. Now, when you transfer over to British Airways, you don't necessarily have to book a British Airways flight. You can book American Airlines through British Airways.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work?
So how that work is basically like if you want to go somewhere like, let's say Miami. Just keep it simple. Let's say you want to go to Miami. So how you would do it is you will look on AmericanAirlines.com to see if they had award availability.
Right.
And if they had award availability, and it's Save Your Award, you can go on One World Alliance partners, which is British Airways, Qantas, and Cathay Pacific.
Okay.
So all American Airlines flights will show up on there. And
Okay.
you can book your flights through them. You can pay cash too, but you don't really want to pay cash.
Right.
But you can pay cash as well. But you can find American Airlines flights on there for cheaper. Even if you decide to pay cash, you might find it cheaper than cash.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does credit work? Meaning, you went into the different cards, but for someone who doesn't know, what should I look for if I'm starting out,
Right.
and okay, I don't have the best credit, what should I look for in a beginning credit card? What are some of, like, say if I have 650 credit score. Okay, what should I look for, and then help us with some of the things that are traps for unsuspected people.
Okay, so
consumers.
Things that are traps are like low limit credit cards, like credit cards with $300 with an annual fee of $75. Like,
okay,
like
right,
that, and with a 36% interest rate. So like credit cards like that, you got First Premier Bank, Credit One, Finger Hut,
right.
Banks like that.
Credit cards.
Yeah, like banks like that. Like my best option, you can either buy a trade line, get an authorized user with somebody else's.
Okay.
That that's somebody that actually trusts you, or you can do a secure card with a bank that you already have a relationship with.
Okay.
Yeah, because once you're done with that account, they give you your money back, or some banks will actually take that money and turn it into a regular credit card.
Okay. And what banks would you kind of recommend, or not recommend, but give as startup banks for credit cards? Bank of America, things like that. Which ones would you kind of guide people towards?
So the banks that I would really guide people towards is the banks that they already have relationships with already, like relationships that you already have, like bank accounts with. Like if you're starting out, start with the banks that you have relationships with. Now, if you're looking to get a card from a new bank, open an account first. Put the minimum in there, open a checking account, open a savings account, put the minimum in there, and then wait 30 to 60 days, then go open a new secure card with them.
Okay.
Then after you start the secure card, use it for 30 to 90 days, maybe 6 months, depending on where your credit is, and then go apply for that new card.
Okay, so now that in the next level we rising up, what should we look for? Going up, should it be, what kind of things will get us to the point where we can travel with low rates and do the things that you're speaking of? How do we do that?
So the first thing you want to do is, all right, so some of these cards that I'm talking about, they does have annual fees. I'm not going to sugarcoat like they do. Some of them don't, but most of them does.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the annual fees make sense. Like for instance, like the American Express Gold, that's one of the cards I do have. Like the American Express Gold, it comes with $120 of food credits, and it comes with something else. But basically, it equals up to $240 in credits.
Okay.
To where I basically only pay $10 a month. Not $10 a month, $10 a year. I'm sorry, $10 a year.
Okay.
So basically, and the annual fee is $250. So on paper, I'm winning. So so what you want to look for is even stuff like that, and then the sign up bonus is what you really want to look for. So right now, I think the public offers about 70,000 or 60,000. So the sign up bonus is 60,000. You can spend 4,000 in 6 months.
Okay, so that's 60,000 points.
60,000 points plus whatever you spend. So
Okay.
if we want to keep it basic, let's say you spend in the category where it's only 1 point per dollar. So let's say you spend 4,000 plus 1 point per dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get the sign up bonus at 60,000 plus the $4,000 at 64,000 points.
Okay.
So once you get that, you'll be able to take those points, and that's when you'll be able to travel.
Okay.
Plus you'll be getting the Uber credits plus the $10 a month from Grubhub or wherever you choose to eat at. I think it's like Cheesecake Factory, Shake Shack, and it's like one other place. I don't really remember because I don't use it at that other place, but it's $10 a month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is there also like a taxi credit? Like if you're traveling somewhere and you need a taxi, do they kind of give you a discount on that?
No, so you got other cards that do that. So I know, so Chase is a little bit different. So Chase has something called, so their Chase Sapphire, they got a Chase Sapphire Preferred and a Chase Sapphire Reserve. So they're two different cards. Then people get confused because one costs $95 and one costs $550.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, mind you, the sign-up bonus is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
The sign-up bonus on both cards is 60,000 points.
Right.
But the Sapphire Reserve at $550 come with more credits. Now, I can't really give you the details on it because I don't have that
that's
card,
fine.
but I know the basics on that card of the travel credits is $325. So you can swipe all travel purchase for $325 and Chase will credit you back. So what you was talking about, like you can take Ubers and taxis for $325, boom, they're covered that.
Okay.
So for real, you only pay like $250 for the card for that year.
Okay. So tell them tell our viewers how when you go to dinner you can utilize it to eat good and pay less.
Okay, so basically that comes with that really depends. So it depends on what card you have. So Chase, City, Capital One, American Express, and Bank of America, they run promotions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna speak on American Express because I have them. So American Express, they might give you something like so me and my girlfriend not long ago went to Bahama Breeze.
Right.
So they said if you spend $100 or more, we give you $50 back.
Okay.
So you already know, you go out with your girl,
right?
You already spending $100.
Yeah.
So, but now when we went to Joe Alexander, that's when I told you about that is when I basically spent nothing.
Right.
They basically paid for that meal. So it was basically like you spend $100, you get $100 back, plus you get a free bottle of champagne when you went there. But that was for people that hold the American Express Platinum.
Now, but are these things? Are they? Like I say, I know that they're available to the consumer, but do you have to look for these things, or how do someone that just got a credit card or trying to use credit to work for them, how do they find out these things? Is it just readily available?
Okay, so most of the basic things are in the fine print. Like the sign-up bonuses, like your regular credits for the card, like the Uber credits and stuff like that. Most those basic things are in the fine print, and the transfer partners, stuff like that. All this stuff in the fine print. Now the stuff I was talking about, like the Bahama Breeze and the Joe Alexander offers and stuff like that, that stuff pops up in your American Express app. Everybody don't get that. That's targeted. So the more you use your card, the more stuff your bank feeds you.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So so we've conversed in depth, and I'm not going to say where you're going, but you utilize the credit system to your benefit and you're going on some trips and they're costing you little to nothing. Can you tell us how you orchestrated that? How, I know you told us about the points and everything, but how do you maneuver within the system to get what you need rather than just going into debt?
Oh, so basically what I use is I use the cards for like my everyday bills like everybody else does. So what I do is, like I might get a card that says like, for instance, like this, I just got a city card.
Okay.
A City American Airlines card where basically the sign-up bonus was for 60,000 points, but I got 63,000 points. So I used it for my everyday bills. It was I used it for my rent, my electric, food, everything else. And all I did, the same money I was gonna spend on my debit card, I just charged it to that, paid it back, boom. I got the 60,000 point sign-up bonus plus the other 3,000 in rent, bills, food, and everything else. The points that I spent. So what I did was I took that plus I didn't use those points yet because I'm using the points for another trip, but I had points with JetBlue.
Okay.
And that was the very first card that I got from that Zoom that I was talking about. So I had points with JetBlue, and I used those points to book a round trip to the trip I'm taking in April. And then also I had points on my American Express card that I booked with a Hilton all-inclusive trip that I got coming up in April.
Okay.
So all you do is basically, so every 1 point you transfer from American Express, you get 2.
Okay.
That goes to Hilton. So I didn't really have to put that much over to Hilton because it's 1 point is double.
Okay.
And that's how I do that. So I just spend on my regular expenses.
Okay.
So that's really all you do.
Yeah, because when you first brought it to me, it was like, you was like, yo, you're going to spend it anyway, so why not get something for it? So I'm learning, but since I buy everything, for those of us who buy everything on credit, with cash, it's a little different. You have to build a credit rating. Not just a rating, the spending. How would you call it when you use your credit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a spending. So that's what I'm building now. So it's like sometimes to me it seems like you're starting from the bottom. You don't have any offensives, but because you bought stuff on cash, they have no record of you. Is that?
Yeah, that's really how it is. So, and I be trying to tell people, just because you have a 760 and you have one credit card that you had for 4 months, that don't mean you approve everything. Because I can have a 680 with a credit score for 6 years. I'm gonna get $100,000 before you do.
Okay.
It's about credit limit, not credit score. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, for those I know it's a lot of viewers, you hip to this, but for those viewers who are not, we're trying to put out some information that will help you get where you want to be. And I don't know about the American dream, but I would rather you fulfill your dream.
Yeah.
So I have Brother Brahim here with me, and he's just gonna, enlighten us. And if you know it, pass it on. If you don't know it, now you're learning something. Just remember, brother to brother, where we seek the truth. And we're going to continue with Brother Brahim. So what other things can you tell the audience about credit that will help them? How do they investigate a good trip? How they all inclusive? How does that work?
So, how do all inclusives work?
Well, we know. You start with that.
Okay.
All inclusive for those, because a lot of people may not know. So
Okay.
all inclusive is defined as what?
All inclusive is defined as basically like, all the food is included, all entertainment is included, all entertainment is included. Sorry.
Right. That's all right.
All entertainment is included. Basically, everything on the property, like
Okay.
pool access,
Drinks and all that.
Yeah,
Is there any limitations to all inclusive?
So what I did find out, when I called the Hilton property, is that they do have, so all the food is included. They do have restaurants. So they have a certain side of the menu that you do have to pay for.
Ah, okay.
All inclusive does work like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like, all right, so for example, we give an example. So we got steak, right? You want to use steak for example.
Okay.
You can get a 12-ounce steak, but you got to pay for the tomahawk.
Huh?
Yeah, you can get a 12-ounce steak, but if you want a tomahawk, you got to pay for that.
Okay, because that's not one of the steaks that's
Exactly.
okay.
You can get Taylor pork, but you got to pay for Cabernet.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how all inclusive works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So then it ain't all inclusive.
Exactly. It's
all inclusive, but
all inclusive to the basics.
Right.
You get basic all
right.
inclusive.
Like if you go top shelf, you know,
top shelf.
you're on your own.
You gotta come out there. But I mean, it's still some stuff you got to pay for, like cabanas. You got to pay for. You got to rent that out all day.
Okay.
What else? That's really it. I mean, that's really it. But top shelf stuff you got to pay for, depending on what hotel you go to. And cabanas you got to pay for.
Okay.
That's really it. But you know, when you hold the American Express Platinum card or American Express Surpass card for Hilton, you get gold status.
And what is gold status?
So gold status for Hilton, you get free upgrades on rooms.
Okay.
So you get the next level. You get the next level of rooms. But if you hold the platinum card, you get gold status for Hilton and Marriott.
Oh, cool. Now I want to ask a question because I think we've spoke to about this in our conversation. Like, what about if you get a flight or something, you stay over, you know, it's a delay. How does that work? And how does that work with your baggage? And how does that work with, like, you know, staying over? Are you compensated in any way? Or?
Yeah, you are compensated. So compensation works dependent on airline. It is dependent on airline and is hourly. The rate is hourly and is dependent on by airline. Now, if you book it with your credit card,
okay,
you're compensated.
Okay.
Compensated.
Now now again, is that any credit card or is that a prominent credit card?
No, it's travel credit card.
Okay.
Not with any credit card.
See, that's what we need to.
Yeah.
We don't want to give the viewers the wrong impression.
You can't use a cashback credit card.
Okay.
Travel, you book it with a travel credit card.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all heard that. Travel credit card.
Travel credit card.
Not cashback.
Yeah, not cashback. You can't use cashback and you can't use a basic one. Travel credit card.
See, so that's upper level.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I just wanted them to know because I find that when you teach them to fish, you give them the information that they need, they can make informed choices because it's a lot of deception out here. You know, everybody is marketing deception now.
Yeah.
You know, so
also, and I want to put out there, it's not all travel credit cards that has to say it in the fine print.
Okay.
Yeah. So for instance,
go ahead.
Cards like TrueMark and Police and Fire, that's not covering you for that.
Okay.
They don't.
Okay. So is that credit unions or just those?
I just use those because I have them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't cover those. So and you need to investigate the small print of your credit
card. You have to really read them.
Right.
You have to really read them.
So now APR, what does that stand for?
So I ain't gonna pretend like I know, but
annual percentage rate. Is that okay?
Annual percentage rate.
But you were saying to me that that's yearly.
Yeah, so basically annual percentage rate is basically, all right, so when you first open a credit card, right?
Okay.
So they have promotions. Basically, it's like, all right, so let's say you come to me, right? I'm a bank, right? You come to me and be like, hey, Bank of America, I want to open a credit card. Right. I say, okay, cool. Here go a credit card, the APR, 0% APR, 15 months.
Okay.
$10,000. You go out, buy a car, $5,000. You got 15 months to pay off this $5,000 credit card at 0% interest. Now, 15 months go past, you don't pay nothing. Now, interest is building up for 15 months.
Right.
But if you pay it before the 15 months go past, you don't owe the interest. Right. But it's building up the whole time, though.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Right.
So when that 15-month mark comes, interest slapped on top of it.
Oh. Okay.
That's how it works.
And so that's where the 30% comes in, if it's whatever the percentage of the card is.
Exactly.
Okay.
So so it'll say 0% APR.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath it'll say what the interest rate is.
Okay.
But you got 0% for just 15 months.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that says don't buy outside of your means.
Exactly. Now when that 16-month comes, boom, 23% interest.
Right. and you were warned though, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They warned you. You just didn't heed the warning.
And it was building up month for month.
Right. So now, just so I understand, and those who don't understand, so when you get your monthly bill, if you pay, like say it's $400 and you pay $300, so that interest still don't accrue until you only have interest on 100.
Yeah.
But it only accrues at the year, or is it monthly?
It accrues monthly, but you don't see the reflection until the 16th month.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, what else would you like to tell the viewers about credit and the pitfalls and the do's and don'ts?
All right, this is my biggest one with people, right? Like, people don't understand why, when they use a credit card, they pay their bill, and why why their credit score still drops. I really want to explain why this happens.
Okay.
So, let's say, for instance, people, you have a $5,000 credit card, right? You only can use 30% of it. Now, let's say you go out and you use $2,500, right? It's due on the 1st. You go out and you pay it off.
Okay.
Right? Boom. You owe nothing.
Right.
That's the due date. You have a closing statement date of the 3rd. Right?
Okay.
So when the 3rd, once you pay it on the due date, you go back and you spend $2,500 again on the 2nd. You're now back at a 50% utilization.
Oh.
The statement hasn't closed yet.
So you're being held accountable for that new.
You're still being held accountable until after the 3rd.
Okay.
So when the 3rd comes and it reports to the credit bureaus, you know what they report? 50% utilization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where do we find this stuff at? If you
found it right
in that booklet.
On that booklet, it tells you when you first
the
get
little print again.
It tells you exactly what it is: your statement date and your close date.
Okay.
So when you go and use it, and it goes to report, what happens? Your credit score goes down. So what happens is you have to wait until that passes. Then you go and use your credit card again if you decide to go over 30%.
Okay.
That's what happens. Now, here's not how to build interest. Now, once that APR promotion thing go passes and you had this card for over a year now and you're still using it, now, you have two things. You have the balance and the statement balance.
Define those for us.
All right, so the statement balance is, so you have the balance, the statement balance, and the minimum balance. The balance is the entire balance is what you'll pay off to be zero.
Right.
The statement balance is the balance that you pay for the bank not to charge you interest. It's not the entire balance, but that's what you pay not to pay interest. The minimum balance is what you pay just not to have a late payment.
Okay.
So let's say it's $2,500 that you owe. That's the total. The statement balance may be $900. And then the minimum balance may be $40. The minimum balance may be $40. The average person will pay $40. The average person will pay $40 not to have a late payment. Now, when you go and pay that $40, you wonder when the statement go by why you get charged $25 or $26.
Right.
Because you're supposed to pay the statement balance, not to get charged the interest.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to pay the whole $2,500, but you're at least supposed to pay the statement balance so you don't get charged interest.
Okay. So statement balance avoid you from paying the interest.
Exactly.
Okay. So good. So anything else you want the viewers to know? I mean, good, bad, the ugly of, because I know that you travel a lot and you I'm learning because I'm a student of yours when it comes to credit and finances. So the reason I want to have you here on Brother to Brother is because if I don't know, I would think that somebody else doesn't know. So is there anything else that you would like the viewers to, that some warnings or just some insight, or just, some motivations? What's a reasonable credit score? And what makes it reasonable? Because see, a lot of people think that, I got 6 something, like you said before, if you have this number and this affects is still different. So how can we balance that out?
I want to say the reasonable credit score is 680, because that's what makes a bank even look at you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what makes a bank even look at you. When you at a 680, at least you can at least start applying for even entry points.
Right.
Level
Elite
2,
cards.
Elite cards. Like,
yeah.
like depending on how long your credit profile is.
So okay, now what's a reasonable length of credit profile?
A year.
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
A year or more.
A year or more. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's paying off your whole balance or paying?
No, it's just the on-time payments.
Just a one-time payment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because me, I used to buy everything with cash, and since we've talked, I'm trying to alter that, and it's a little difficult, but it's getting better.
see, the biggest reason why I use credit cards, it's not even because of the church. The biggest reason why I use credit cards is because of the protections. The protections behind it.
Okay.
So if I go out, let's say, to a store, and the clerk decides to take a picture of my credit card, and they swipe me for $25,000.
Right.
I ain't liable for that.
Okay.
The credit card company, American Express, just gonna wipe off my account. That's it.
Okay, but why? For those who don't know, explain why that is.
I'm gonna tell you why. You know why?
Okay.
Because that money is not their money. They lent it out your money, all the audience money.
Okay.
So they got to cover that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, reason I asked that because they have a lot of scare tactics, and people think that because they bark loud that they're something to be afraid of, and that's not. If you didn't do anything wrong, but I want the audience to understand what is wrong, what is your rights, and so that's why I invited you here, because I know you're very knowledgeable in the ins and outs of this credit thing.
Mm-hmm. So, like, in a sense, me and you and everybody else that's using credit cards is using everybody else's money that's a part of the people that's a part of that company.
Okay.
So it's like, if I go and use my debit card and the cashier swipes my, pictures of my card, and they go, let's just say I had that amount of money in my account, which I don't, but I'm out.
You're just out of it?
I'm out of it, because a bank assures me up to $250,000 if it's their fault.
Oh, is that's
how it works.
Oh.
If it's their fault, they insure you up to $250,000. That ain't their fault. So they only insure you up to $5,000 if it's your fault.
If it's your fault, you're insured for $5,000.
If it's their fault, it's $250,000. But
So
if it ain't their
now
fault,
this is banks, or is this banks and credit unions?
That's all banks and credit unions.
Okay.
That's why I don't use a debit card at all. Because if they take more than $5,000, it's just a wrap. It's like, so what's the point of using my money?
You got $5,000 in there, you blessed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what's the point of using my money or risking my money like that?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, the subject of this episode is letting credit work for you, and we thank Brahim for taking his precious time and spending with us. And I hope you guys got something from it. In parting, we bid you peace. We out.
Yeah.